What is up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, February 20th, 2019. Litecoin, I don't know, continuing to move. We're going to talk about it. We have 4 questions in this video we're gonna talk about. And for all you replay viewers, I'm gonna get it going. I'm gonna jump in right now, and we're gonna discuss the 4 questions to be asking ourselves, the 4 questions to be considering right now. As Litecoin continues to do its thing. So let's start here back in 2015 to give us a foundational data point to run our technical analysis today. 4 questions, and I'll go through the questions and then we'll do it one by one. So number 1, we want to analyze this spread between the 50 EMA, this blue line down here, right, and the 200 EMA. So we're going to look at that spread in 2015, which you see on the chart, and 2019 currently. What does it look like? It's important. It's very important. 2, we're going to ask the question: can Litecoin close above the 200 EMA consistently? I think a more important question is, can Litecoin close above the 50 EMA, the blue line, consistently? But now that we're actually testing, and now we're on the 2019 chart, we're testing the 200 EMA up here, you can see. Now that we're actually testing that, it's a good question to ask. If we get a daily close above the 200 EMA, we want to watch, can Litecoin close and stay above the 200 EMA consistently, that pink line. 3rd question, will higher highs continue on the RSI? Will higher highs continue on the RSI? So we talked about this the other day. We'll take a deep dive into the RSI and what higher highs might look like in terms of the RSI, right? And with this momentum of Litecoin, can it hit another higher high? We're going to talk about that, especially in context to the last bear market, the similarities there on the momentum of Litecoin. And then the last question you see on the screen: when will the next big dip arrive? And are there clues in the Fibonacci retracement? So those are some things we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to keep it brief today. I know I'm doing a live stream right now. I'm in the middle of my day trying to work, and I wanted to do a technical analysis, but I figured I don't want to edit. Let's do a live stream. So let's jump into these points. 2015, we've talked about multiple times, this May 22nd date for Litecoin, pivotal date in this long-term reversal in the cryptocurrency markets out of that bear market, right? It wasn't the end of the bear market, but this truly did define the middle of the bear market and the beginning of climbing out. So this was the 50 EMA on the daily chart, right? And the 200 EMA on the daily chart. So here's that cross, that 50 EMA cross above the 200 EMA. But when we first got that initial pop, right, you can see the spread on Litecoin from the 50 to 200 EMA, quite a distance. And then I want to liken where we are now. We can liken it to this move of Litecoin moving through the 200 EMA. That is currently what's happening. Not as strong, right? But it's currently what's happening. We've crossed slightly above, and we're trading slightly above the 200 EMA. So if we want to compare charts and get a sense of, will this trend continue for Litecoin, this is a good area to watch. So what was going on at this time? And by the way, Poseidon Lou, I see you with the 0.25 LTC. And dude, thank you for the Litecoin. But how funny was that picture of you and Sarah in the background of Charlie Lee? You two look like both big-time creepers. Big-time creepers back there. But I don't even know if Sarah saw that yet, but I think it's hilarious. So the thing I want to look at is the spread, the 50 EMA to 200. Like how much of a move did Litecoin have to make before actually even crossing over, right? So here's this 200 EMA. Here's that first daily move above. And you can see on that day, Litecoin actually 35% spread from the 50 EMA to the 200 EMA. So let's look at that data and see where we are today. We have this first move of the daily candle crossing above the 200 EMA. It's a key move. Whether or not we close above it, that's a whole nother question. Whether or not we get a full body close, full body candle above the 200 EMA, that's something we keep an eye out on. However, let's look at the spread on this day, similar to 2015, where Litecoin makes this move through the 200 EMA. The spread, look at this, right around 34%. The similarities, I say this it's like every week now. The similarities are ridiculous. So there's the spread. We want to keep an eye on this. Is Litecoin momentum going to continue? Something very important to keep an eye on is Litecoin going to see current resistance here, right? That would be a divergence of what Litecoin was doing in that last bear market. Litecoin just popping through. So this time around, is Litecoin actually going to see resistance here in this area? Unlike 2015. So that's something to keep an eye on right now. The spread of the 50 EMA to 200 EMA. Let's see if the 50 EMA can keep approaching the 200 EMA for that eventual cross, right? So a continued uptrend. The second question we have is, can Litecoin close above the 200 EMA consistently? So assuming we do get a continued uptrend, right? We might even if we have a slight pullback, if we do get a continued uptrend and we actually close above the 200 EMA, the question is, once Litecoin is above, assuming it does get above the 200 EMA, will it remain above, right? This is a question because this is what Litecoin did in that last bear market. It remained above for a good amount of time before falling back below and retesting those areas. But that was a consolidation phase. This wasn't a bad phase for Litecoin. That pullback was healthy. But in the short term, in the coming weeks and maybe even couple months, is Litecoin going to stay above the 200 EMA if we get above it, right? That is the most bullish question we could ask. And really, in defining this bottom, it's probably one of the most important ones. If not more important, the 50 EMA, right? So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and start using the 200 EMA for all of our bullish context. Really, it's the 50 EMA that tells the story. That's all the way down here, right? That's the one we truly want to remain above. And that is going to test our patience, right? Because if we get a pullback to test that 50 EMA and actually see if we remain above it, we're going to see quite a dip in the markets. And that's kind of where we need to be prepared. So the third question, will higher highs continue on RSI? So what do higher highs on the RSI look like? What do higher highs in the momentum of Litecoin look like? It's simple. Here is the RSI for Litecoin as it climbed out of this bear markets back in 2015. And you can kind of see just this momentum from April through May, and let me get one of these trend lines to be easier. So you see we have these higher lows, we have these higher highs. And that's a terrible drawing. I'm not zoomed in correctly. However, you see it on the charts, right? So where was Litecoin in terms of the RSI when it broke this 200 EMA? Right here, right? Litecoin was kind of hitting its second higher high after this first burst. So right now, Litecoin on the RSI, if we want to find the similarities, here it is. Here's Litecoin's first burst above the 50 EMA now. Here's Litecoin's first burst above the 50 EMA then. It's that first high on the RSI. The second burst, right now through the 200 EMA, the question is, are we going to get it? Are we going to get a higher high on this RSI? It is an extremely important momentum oscillator to be watching right now in terms of Litecoin to get a sense of, is this momentum going to continue? I know so many people are bullish right now in terms of Litecoin because it's just been making crazy gains. But when the true test comes and we're testing really big resistance areas, namely right now this 50 EMA, we have to watch the momentum oscillators. We have to see if we're going to start seeing resistance right now, or literally right now, as we're at this 200 EMA. are we going to kind of see this previous high, swing high on the RSI broken, or are we going to see resistance before it happens? That's very important. So resistance before it happens would look something like, we stall out and we kind of come back down. That is another extremely important data point to be watching in terms of Litecoin. Be careful is the general undertone of really this entire video. We can be bullish, right? We can be long-term bullish, and we can all be prepared for, a potential continued uptrend. That would be fun. That would be cool. However, there's a lot of resistance ahead of us, right? There's no guarantee that Litecoin's going to continue the trajectory that it did in 2015, where we're kind of just soaring through the 200 EMA and then continuing to soar. I mean, these were like 500% gains back then. I'm definitely not sitting here comparing 2015 to today and saying we're about to get 500% gains. But up until now, this day, Litecoin has been climbing out of its bottom almost identically to back in 2015. So right now, for context, this is basically where we are today. This is 2015, and this is where we are today, 2019. And you can see, as I do this video in this very hour, there seems to be a little bit of resistance on this daily chart at the 200 EMA. That's something to take note of right now if you're out there watching and wondering what's next for Litecoin. Will this continue? Well, right now we have some resistance. Fourth question to ask, when will the next big dip arrive? And are there clues in the Fibonacci retracement? So what does that mean? Well, this is probably the most bearish question, right? And it's not even bearish. It's if you've been in crypto for a while, this is expected. And we anticipate it, but we almost expect it. You can't be in cryptocurrency and think that there's not going to be crazy volatility on the upside and downside. If you zoom out on a daily chart I don't care what cryptocurrency, let me move this around a little bit. The upside and downside gains and losses are incredible, and they happen like all the time, right? Just look at the chart. Up, down, roller coaster like crazy, whether it's a bear market or a bull market. So what excites me is the prospects of entering a bull market. I've done my entire YouTube channel in this entire bear market since the top last January. We've covered it. Like we've anticipated dips, and it's proven helpful, right? I want to cover technical analysis in a bull market and cover dips similarly, right? And we're going to. Now, whether or not we're at the beginning of a bull market really doesn't matter, actually. What matters to me is the fact that since December, Litecoin is up 134%, 130%. This helps me in painting the picture of what accumulation looks like in a bull market. We've talked about it. We're going to do it. We're going to cover it. Whether the bull market starts now or starts in a year from now, it'll happen. But this is the beginning. This is where you get your beginning look, your beginning idea of what this looks like. So here's what it looks like. Assuming, right? And we can even zoom, like we can kind of pretend that this is a long-term chart here, right? It's not, but we can pretend. But just look at the volatility here from, swing low to swing high, right? 66%, and then swing high to, a retracement, 25%. And this happened all within like 2 to 3 weeks. 66% to the upside, and then 25% back down in 2 to 3 weeks. The market is insane. It moves so quick. It moves so strong. It's so volatile. The opportunity that exists in this environment is extremely powerful. So I want to say, when we have, this most previous swing low to swing high, right, of 72%, we're talking from January 22nd to today, February 20th, 1 month, up 72%. You have to anticipate pullback. Pretty dramatic pullbacks too, right? And for clues to that, I mean, we can take out our Fibonacci from where we possibly could be getting current resistance at this 200 EMA, and we can say, okay, what is Fibonacci retracement telling us? What could potential downside look like? And this doesn't have to necessarily be like bearish downside or discouraging downside, but you can see our Fibonacci retracement brings us back down. And let me get a little rectangle. Fibonacci retracement, if we see resistance here and get a pullback, brings us right back down to the 618 to 786 channel. That's our pullback area for support, right? If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know how extremely reliable that is from a technical analysis standpoint. But that pullback could look anything from $38 down to $34 for Litecoin. And you might be watching this being like, dude, we're at $50 Litecoin. You're so bearish, Dan. But no, I'm not bearish. I'm realistic. And this is how cryptocurrency moves, whether it's Litecoin or Bitcoin. And it happens exactly the same even in a bull market, right? So perfect example, I just did a quick zoom out on the bull market, right? And you can see the volatility. Gains, losses. Look at this swing low here in August 14th, 2017, up 130% in like 120% in 2 weeks, right? And then what happens? What happens the 2 weeks after that? Well, down 65%. That's crypto. If you can learn to anticipate those moves, you make money. That's simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you can learn to anticipate those moves, even in a bull market, you can continue accumulating. If you're out there and you're like, oh my goodness, I just got into crypto and I just got into cryptocurrency last week, mid-February. I missed the bottom. I could have bought a $20 Litecoin. It's too late. It's late. Well, I implore you to rethink that, I guess you could say. I'm not giving you financial advice because nobody knows what can happen, right? I'm not telling you that we'll never see $20 again. But what I am saying is whether bear market or bull market, there are always opportunities to accumulate. And I think that's important to note. So this is what accumulation in a bull market would look like. If Litecoin does continue an uptrend, right, it could look something like this. We have this continued uptrend. And even this current trend line stemming back to mid-December, right, plays actually really well into our current pullback of support area. This could be a very bullish area of support, this 50 EMA. I'm very, very keen to see if we get a pullback to 50 EMA. This area down here, which you see is the Fibonacci retracement area we have, is confluent with this 50 EMA. On the daily chart. And so this whole area, really where it's circled down to this trend line around $35, for me personally, this is not financial advice, is an extremely, extremely powerful accumulation area for me. And just to give you context of what that looks like from where we're trading now, that is around 25% to the downside. This could, just to give you an idea of what that looks like, this could be a couple days worth of just downside in the markets, meaning it could be this weekend coming up. You might wake up on Saturday and Litecoin's is down 9%. People are panicking a little, and then throughout the day it's down another 3%, and then Sunday it's down another 8%. That is what I'm looking for, whether we're in a bear market or a bull market. Those are the days I like to wake up to and say, now I want to accumulate a little bit more. And that's just kind of my approach to the market. So those are my heavy accumulation areas. Sometimes, my own approach, because I manage my money in my own way. Sometimes I'll be like, feeling a little froggy, so I'm going to leap, I'm going to jump. And I'll, if I think we're testing a resistance area that might break to the upside, it's a little bit it's a definitely higher risk play. I'll accumulate a little. I don't care. Like I'll accumulate a little when the daily on LTC is testing the 200 EMA, because if by chance it does pop through, because that's a huge resistance area, it's probably going to be a really strong pop through to the upside. So I'll accumulate a little bit, but I do so with full mindfulness, right? That I could buy here, I could accumulate here, and we could dip 25% this weekend, right? And my thought process is this: okay, that's why right here isn't my heavy accumulation area. That's not heavy accumulation area. This isn't FOMO for me. My heavy accumulation area is down 25%. That's where my heavy accumulation area is. That's where I'm comfortably buying and feeling very good after I press buy and I accumulate. It's buying the fear, buying the red days. And that takes complete discipline to do that. To buy when everybody's like panicking and being like, no, we're going to see new lows, no, like crypto's failing. You have to leave the emotionality out of this process of accumulation. Dario, what's up, Dario? Look at this. We have a 0.016 Ethereum crypto super chat. Thank you, Dario. He says, Dan, how can I open a Litecoin node? Also, sorry for tip and ETH. It's all good, man. How can you open a Litecoin node? My biggest suggestion is to do what I did. Go to so you can just go to Google and you Google Litecoin, Lite School of Crypto. That's eCurrency Hodler's website. And you can go to his tutorials tab on there and you'll see how to set up a Litecoin node. I just set up a Lightning Network node, LTC node, and took a little bit of work, but I got it set up. I think I was like a little over 100, the 100th node set up. And I would definitely recommend you follow eCurrency Hodler's tutorial. And I really appreciate that super chat. Thank you, man. All you super chatters are awesome. And I think that was like the first Ethereum. I think that was the first Ethereum crypto super chat that we got. So that's that, everybody. I can't stress enough like the importance of just getting rid of the emotionality aspect of it, right? It's everything in this market of accumulation. And, that takes definite time, I guess, to get used to doing that. So those are my thoughts there. LTC on the weekly also can paint a picture for you in terms of potential room for a retracement, a pullback. You see the 50 EMA weekly pivot off of the 200 EMA is something that we can really look for in this exchange in Litecoin from the bears to the bulls, right? It's like the handoff, end of bear market into bull market. It's a slow and steady trade, a slow and steady handoff. And so I just call it a weekly pivot, the 50 EMA off of the 200 EMA. So what does that look like? Well, here's the bear market right here, right? You see it clearly on the weekly screen. Crazy losses, right? And you can see the 50 EMA kind of coming down, coming into the 200 EMA, getting close, right? But right now, if we zoom in, you can see kind of leveling off, and that's what we want to see. We definitely don't want to see the 50 EMA on the weekly cross below the 200 EMA. That's not good. That would obviously be a telltale sign of an extended, longer-term bear market. It'll test everybody's patience. What we want to see is the 50 EMA level off, which is awesome for long-term consolidation. This is a weekly chart, and basically just pivot back up, right? And just for an idea, it's a slow and steady shift. It's a slow and steady exchange of market sentiment, the bulls coming in. It's a slow and steady thing. So even just this slight little uptick I just drew, this brings us into June, right? So just to give you an idea, right now we're in February. You're not going to just see craziness like in the weekly 50 EMA, right? Unless we get a move like we had in that crazy awesome time frame in the end of 2017, right? Everybody remembers that. That's not something that happens all the time. I don't think that's something we should expect anytime soon. I think it's going to be a slower, steady move. So what does that actually look like besides Dan just drawing on a chart here, drawing pretty pathetically on a chart? Well, it looks like we can go to, what we'll do is we'll visit a 50 EMA shift above the 200 EMA, and we'll use Bitcoin to do that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm zooming out on Bitcoin's weekly chart, okay? And we can see Bitcoin in that last bear market, 2014, 2015. This is what the 50 EMA looked like through that bear market. You know, pretty steep dip of the 50 EMA, approaching that 200 EMA, closing in on that 200 EMA down here, the pink line. But what happened at the end of that bear market? Here's that pivot, the 50 EMA, that shift, the bears to the bulls. Boom, right above the 200 EMA. So didn't even touch, didn't cross, very bullish. That's what we're looking for right now in terms of Litecoin on the 50 EMA, 200 EMA weekly chart. The exchange of bear market to bull market. So again, takes patience. Part of this could completely look like a current pullback like we just talked about. So right now getting a little bit of potential resistance at the weekly 200 EMA on Litecoin. You see it here. So we might have a pullback. And this could bring us down into that $35 area, and it could simply just be a higher low for Litecoin, but a continued climb out of the market. Please just be ready for something like that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I never sit here and predict what's going to happen. Please don't listen to any YouTuber out there that's telling you what to do with your money. It's just probably not going to pan out for you. Gather data. Study the charts yourself. And just have patience. I think that's the best approach. So those are my thoughts on that. LTC BTC pair, we continue to watch. This is a Litecoin video, right? So it's very nice to see LTC BTC pair doing well, right? Look at every other cross we've had. The 50 EMA above the 200 EMA. Here's one back in June 2015. Here's one back in March 2017. Here's one back in December 2017. You can see every move was a success for Litecoin in terms of gains. And here we have our most current 50 EMA cross above the 200 EMA, February 12th, 2019, just 8 days ago. A very important shift for Litecoin. Could we have some potential sideways trading in this area before continued uptrend? 100%, right? It's pretty much a given that we may get something like that. It's taking a break, and that's good. That's what we want to see. However, one thing is true. Litecoin has really outperformed this market in the beginning, first quarter 2019, and it's been fun to see because we've been, you guys all out there, most of you are long on Litecoin, and many of you know that I am as well. So it's pretty cool to see that. That's it. That's what I got for the charts, everybody. I want to cover something, and just to wrap that all around, I'll end it with a tweet to really just kind of sum up. Very simple point. A very big buy zone for me is the $40 range on potential retest of 50 EMA. Support there is a big indicator. So that's it. Always ready. We will watch and see, but be ready for that potential pullback to that area on the 50 EMA on the daily chart, even as low as 30, right now on this chart at least, $34, slightly below the 50 EMA on the daily chart, the Fibonacci retracement. Everybody, please be ready for something like that. What you do with your money, completely up to you. Again, just kind of a PSA, don't listen to YouTubers on what to do with your money. So I want to, many of you have been through the bear market with us. We've been trying to build multiple things, And one of those things is the Crypto Capital Venture, the Launchpad Foundation, which, we started in October at the end of last year, so fourth quarter 2018. We raised $3,000. We donated to one of our projects in Philly. It was extremely exciting to get this off the ground. And we have Nick with Hodl Fuel Coffee tweeted earlier today, not long ago. He's going to be at Bitcoin Ben's events in April. And he tweeted, LTC East-West team will be auctioning off a piece of Litecoin history at Bitcoin Ben's event in April. This banner was part of the historical Litecoin 30 for 30, attended this 2018 Litecoin Summit, signed by Charlie Lee. All proceeds donated to Crypto Recruiter Launchpad Foundation. So first off, Nick Hodlfield, dude, you're such a cool dude, man. Really enjoyed just hanging out with you a little bit at the Litecoin Summit. And here's the banner. You see it in the background. Bunch of the Litecoin fam right there, and just signed by a bunch of people, Charlie Lee included. And Nick is going to be auctioning this off in April, and he's going to donate proceeds to the Litecoin Foundation. And by the way, here's Poseidon Lou and my wife Sarah in the background, just looking shady. Don't know what they're doing, but they're creeping up on Charlie Lee. They're like little spies back there. It's awesome. So Nick, thank you so much, dude. I feel so grateful. I really do. I'm humbled when like things like this I see happening, and to be at the receiving end of it is awesome for me. So, I tweeted a little bit ago, and I basically just said, quarter 4 2018, we raised $3K. It was, I think, successful, being the bear market that we were in. I said 2019 will take off, and I do truly believe 2019 we're going to do some awesome things with Launchpad Foundation. But I'll give more details too as each quarter this year ends on what we've been raising, as well as more about the project or projects that we're helping, because I know it's important to cover that. So everybody, I appreciate your support in this. Nick, Hodl Fuel, Ben, thank you for allowing this at your event. It means a lot. And I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. So that's it, everybody. That's all I got for today, Wednesday, February 20th. Litecoin continuing to do its thing. I missed a super chat. Rick Costa with a 0.098 LTC. Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate that, dude. I really do, man. And I enjoy following you on Twitter and seeing what you're up to over there. Poseidon Lou, thank you for the super chat. $4.99 super chat says, thanks Rick Costa for the LTC super chat. I appreciate it, Poseidon Lou. You are the man, and I appreciate all of you coming by. So let me know your thoughts. If you're still here, I am curious. What is your take right now in terms of, before we go, I want to just get a sense of, on the daily chart, right now where Litecoin is. Press 1 if you think we're going to break above this 200 EMA area, a big resistance area. Press 1 if you think we're going to break that area. Press 2 if you are convinced that we're getting the retracement back down to a new higher low and some slight consolidation here. We've got the 2s flowing in. We've got the 2s. Christopher Park says, I think a healthy pullback would be nice. And I agree. The consistency in crypto markets is important. And part of that consistency would be a pullback, at the very least, to a 50 EMA. And then we can actually just see, how does a 50 EMA hold up in supports? This is the most important question of the year, everybody, because all year long, the 50 EMA has proven resistance. If we see a 50 EMA act as support for Litecoin, it is extremely bullish I thought I had my bullish t-shirt on, but I don't. But it is extremely bullish. So keep an eye out on that. Everybody, thank you so much. I need to get back to my day. You guys are all awesome. I hope you're all having a good day out there and a good week. If anything crazy happens, I'll probably do another video or live stream later tonight or something. Maybe we'll follow Bitcoin a little bit later. Appreciate all of you. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, just hit that subscribe button. Get it over with. Get it over with. And if you could, hit that like button on the way out. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Super chatters, I love you. Thank you. Thank you, mods, who helped me today. Have an awesome day, and God